What's up, everybody? Little Deftones to get the show started. Love the Deftones. Name of the song is Minerva. Go download it. Deftones. Solid band. 90s band. Which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. This will definitely get copyright problems. Like I said, song is Minerva by Deftones. Go to Spotify, download it, give them your money. Yeah. No Jack tonight. Patty, good evening. As usual, Patty in first. Yeah, we're going to be doing some music news tonight. No Jack. It's hard to turn the song down. I hate cutting a song off in the middle, but they'll take it down. They'll take the whole live stream down. They will do it. We all know who they is. Like I said, welcome to the show. Streaming live right now over everything. Yeah. So we're gonna do some music news tonight. Might as well get right into it. Let's see what I can conjure up. Pull myself down over here, get this up over here. I have some 90s, mostly 90s stuff. I have a one article, big hair, big sound, and 3 big songs that defined the glamour of the 80s. The 80s was fucking great. What a great decade that was to be a kid. I don't know what adults thought of it, but yeah. So let's see. I have this other article. Let me pull it up on the screen. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Okay. Let me cut back over here. Let me add my scene. Let me pull up my screen. That will be screen. There we go. So this is kind of an interesting thing right here. Rock bands with a rock band with more than 1 million Spotify listeners. This is today's music, people. Rock band with 1 million Spotify listeners reveals it's entirely AI generated, down to the musicians themselves. A fresh new rock band that quickly shot to Spotify's top ranks announced that it's actually wholly generated by artificial intelligence. Just 1 month after its celebrated debut album earned it 1 million listeners. The 60s inspired rock and roll band, the Velvet Sundown. Now, if you're a 60s, 70s kid, you know, that's kind of a Velvet Underground, Velvet Sundown. I don't know. It's too close for me. Let me get rid of that. Revealed on Saturday that nothing about it is real after fans on the up-and-coming artist noticed there were virtually no traces of any people associated with it online. Its debut album, Floating on Echoes, was released on June 5th to mass appeal online. The most popular song in the album, pro-peace folk rock song, Dust on the Wind. See, you know what they're doing here. You know what they're doing, right? Not dust in the wind, dust on the wind. Clinched the number. I don't know. We'll talk about this. Clinched the #1 spot on Spotify's daily Viral 50 chart in Britain, Norway, and Sweden between June 29th and July 1st. All the while, the 1 million monthly listeners who started following the Velvet Sundown had no idea they were just listening to a massive artificial intelligence made by fake musicians. The photos of the band shared online and featured on the album's cover were unnaturally smooth and matte. And matte. And the guitarist's hand was wonky because AI, if anybody out there messes around with AI, I do a lot. And imaging is it's very new. And it has a hard time, AI has a hard time with the hand. Hands or fingers are usually messed up, which I guess is the same thing that happens to a painter. Painters really have to do a lot of extra work to learn how to do a hand. So it says the hand was wonky with fused fingers gripping his instrument, a classic hallmark of AI-generated images. I don't read these articles before I read them to you. I like to have that natural reaction. The band's lyrics, too, were a perfect mesh of generic anti-war sentiments and other cliches like nothing lasts forever, but the earth and sky, it slips away, and all your money won't another minute buy. Okay. The faux rock stars were also pumping out new albums scarily and inhumanely fast, releasing 2 in June alone and another set for mid-July. The band finally revealed its secret over the weekend. It updated its Spotify biography Saturday to reflect the AI twist, assuring that the project hadn't been trying to bamboozle its audience. Really? Is this because you got caught? Is this a let's cut it off the ankles before we end up like Milli Vanilli? Maybe? Yeah, I think they got too popular too fast and there was an oh shit moment. And they said, we should probably say something. If they didn't get this popular, would they have ever come out of the closet, the AI closet? Who knows? Who knows? The Velvet Sundown is a synthetic music project guided by human creative direction and composed, voiced, and visualized with the support of artificial intelligence. This isn't a trick, it's a mirror. Any ongoing artistic provocation designed to challenge the boundaries of authorship, identity, and the future of music itself in the age of AI, the biography reads. So I have a podcast that I do. It's my little side project, one of my side projects. It's called Bite-Sized Nightmares. And what I do is I create these short horror stories, but I create them with the help of AI. AI, I look at it, and I don't know about music, but I know about the writing aspect of it. It's more of a collaboration than cheating, because you really have to prompt AI to get it to do what you want. You literally have to train it to do what you want. The more you work with it, the more it starts to know you. It knows your nuances, how you write, or what you want it to do, what you expect it to do. So people think they can just go to AI and write a song. It's really not that easy. You can have I could have a garbage story. And then I actually created an AI voice that tells the stories. And that took work to get that voice perfected to make it sound human. So the work does have to go into it. And you have to do the work. So like I say, it's a collaboration, if anything. But music is a whole, I don't know. There's authors that I know. I know of an author. He's a friend of mine. And he uses AI. Now, musicians, this is a big deal. Music and AI. So we'll see where it goes. The Velvet Sundown is a synthetic music project guided by human creative direction. I already read that. Some people who had seen through the band's ploy early tried to take advantage of its viral success before the truth came out. See? a Quebec-based web safety expert, posed as a spokesman for the Velvet Sundown under the pseudonym Andrew Freelon, which translates to hornet in French, and even slitted false information to Rolling Stone magazine about his supposed clients. But the man behind the Freelon quickly confessed that he was just trying to troll people online. It's unclear if the Velvet Sundown will face any backlash from Spotify. Isn't this a form of art, though? Isn't this a form of art? Like when synthesizers came along, there was a lot of piano players. There's a lot of organ players that got put out of business because synthesizers came along. So isn't this just another version of that? I mean, I'm not pro or not con. This isn't a hill I'm going to die on. The backlash from Spotify or any other platforms where it may be eligible for streaming revenue. Starting on July 15th, YouTube announced that it would be cutting all monetization, including advertisements, from any content generated by AI. Wow. That's interesting. YouTube announced that it would be cutting all monetization, including advertisements, from any content generated by AI. Wow. That's gonna hurt a lot of people. Now, what are the parameters of that? Like, can people, because I've watched YouTubers, popular YouTubers, that will use most likely AI-generated images to tell a story. Does that not count anymore? And these are pretty big YouTubers. In late June, popular YouTuber Mr. Beast announced a tool that would use AI to make thumbnails for videos. He quickly removed it after receiving backlash for supporting an artificial intelligence engine, which often requires massive amounts of energy that would steadily offset his years of environmental work and reforestation efforts. And Mr. Beast is the world's biggest YouTuber. Interesting. I don't know where that's going to go. Let's get back to the show. Let's see. I probably lost my chat. Let me get my chat here. Let me get the overlay over here. No, I want to get it. How are we not talking about Steven Tyler killing it at Ozzy's farewell concert? Tyler is back. Not a big fan, Bob Doucette. Not a big fan. Steven Tyler. Don't really have much love for pedos. Self-admitted pedos. Wrote it in his book, pedos. No denying that he did this, pedo. So I don't give him my attention. There's plenty more out there. Perry Lightfingers Dedovich, the AI. I guess you're going to cause this podcast to not get any money on YouTube anymore because I'm making so much money off of this. Yeah, making so much money off this. So yeah, I don't know what you think about it. I don't know what you think about AI generated music. It's just another artistic form of creation, right? Again, so you have a lot of music programs that have pre-programmed loops, and you can go in and those eventually are going to be generated through AI. They're already probably computer generated, and you can make beats with them and the whole thing. And so I don't know where the line gets drawn. It's a pretty gray line right now, but we'll see. All right, let's see what we got next. Let me pull up something next. Let me get rid of this. Hope everybody had a good 4th of July, by the way. Me and Dr. Vera had another amazing time up at St. Augustine. It is the absolute grand slam on the 4th of July, that place. It really is St. Augustine, Florida. I highly recommend it. Well, no, I don't, because then you'll show up and then there's more people there. But you know what? The thing about that place, everybody's cool. Everybody's cool. There's no hustle and bustle. No one's trying to take your spot, bump into you. If they do this, they literally say, "Excuse me." It's just such a cool place. And you're up on the bay where they do a beautiful 20, 25-minute firework display. They do it right. It's one of their big events for the year. So they put the money into it. Me and Dr. Vera put our chairs up there like 9 in the morning, and the fireworks don't go off until 9:30 at night. We go back around 7. Nobody's moved our chairs. Nobody's touched them. Nobody stole them. No one slid them down so they could put their chair in there. People just put their chairs next to you, and they even keep a little bit of a distance. And it's always a breeze. There's always a breeze coming off that bay. So it's perfect weather, unless it rains. Anyway, I digress. Let's see. What do we got? Let's go with the next. Pull this down. What do we got here? You know what? 5 female alt rock stars of the 90s we know you love. Let me pull this up. Oh, that's going to be a video. All right, I don't want to do that. No. All right, let's go to quick notes. All iCloud. Here we go. Let's go to the 90s here. Let's see what we got. All right. Go back over here. This is live streaming, so there's no editing here, but I'm getting good at this. All right, here we go. 20 iconic music moments that defined the 90s. We don't really talk about the 90s that much. I'll be on. What does it say here? The 90s was such an epic time for music, a decade that not only had elite... It is a very underrated decade, I think. There's some shit that went on in the 90s. Like, they had a lot. It was almost like the 70s. There was about 5 different things going on in music in the 90s, just in that decade. The 90s was such an epic time for music, a decade that not only had elite music programming across radio and TV, but also helped shape the course of music history. From the rise of hip-hop, solidifying mainstream dominance, to platforms changing the way music is consumed, the 90s were a time for artists and music industry to continue to innovate with the times, whether it was an artist redefining the Super Bowl halftime show, we know who that is, or a girl group becoming a worldwide phenomenon, we know who that is. In the 90s, take a guess. The 90s left an unforgettable mark on pop culture. From the highs and the lows, let's take a look at some memorable music moments that defined the decade from 1990 to 1999. We have Whitney Houston's national anthem performance. Do you even have to talk about that at Super Bowl 25? Do we even have to mention that? Is that not the cornerstone of national anthems? Isn't that the pinnacle? Outkast's Source Awards speech. I don't know. Most of you probably don't know who Outkast is. So, MTV launches Total Request Live. That was a phenomenon. That thing was a big deal. Carson Daly. He tried to do his own show after TRL, but never did. I mean, I caught myself watching this a bunch of times. So MTV was still music television back then. It was in 1998 that came out. Spice Girls Ruled the World. We know that. It kicked off in 96. Milli Vanilli's downfall. It happened in the 90s. Yeah. They were exposed in 89, but it carried over. East Coast versus West Coast. That was for those of you that like it, maybe you don't like it, hip hop. That was more than rock bands rivaling. I can tell you that. That was serious. This wasn't like Axl Rose wants to fight Sebastian Bach, right? These motherfuckers were shooting each other, literally. Sebastian Bach wants to fight Marilyn Manson. I would pay to see that, though. Let's see. What do we got? Boy bands are everywhere. Yep. They definitely ruled the 90s. They were NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Hanson, 98 Degrees. And they were all there. Selena. Not even gonna joke about that. That was just tragic. I didn't listen to Tejano music. But I knew who she was. And beautiful young woman, tragically shot by the fucking president of her fan club. Yeah. Hey Macarena. It was a 90s phenomenon. What was that? Was that about the mid-90s? I think. Yeah. Debrat, she goes platinum, then goes away. That's really how that happened. Goes platinum, then literally goes away. She was exposed as a total fucking asshole. Cher changes the world of auto-tune. Do you believe in the power of love? Remember in 98? That auto-tone in there that she pumped her voice up. So let's talk about that. What's auto-tune. Isn't that, it's almost, well, it's technology changing something. Is AI any different? It creates something. I don't know. But auto-tune was, I'm just getting a text message here. All right. Latin artists crossover. Ricky Martin. You had Iglesias. I actually liked him. Enrique Iglesias. I actually did like him. He has some good songs. And the other dude that married J-Lo, Mark Anthony. Those were probably the three. The big three. Janet Jackson signs the largest recording contract. Well deserved, I think. She, you know what? If you don't give her credit, then you're wrong. You're just wrong. Because Janet Jackson she didn't have a fucking hill to climb. She had Mount Everest to climb. She was coming up in the shadow of Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5. That is a monumental task to get to the point that she got to in music. Miss Jackson, all she said, one line in a song, Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, and she became Miss Jackson. I mean, you think about that. Think about the fucking mountains she had to climb to get above and then get over the Michael Jackson sister thing, little sister thing. And she did it. And she did it fucking big time. She absolutely did it big time. So all credit to Janet Jackson. There's no doubt about it. She earned everything she got. Earned it. Nothing was given to that girl. Nothing. MC Hammer is a diamond superstar. He was one of the brings hip hop into the pop mainstream world with Can't Touch This, right? The album Don't Hurt Him. Please Hammer, Don't Hurt Him. And everyone was doing the hammer dance. Everyone had on the genie pants, right? You know you did. I did. I had them genie pants. They were comfortable. They were comfortable. Yeah. I could dance. I could dance like Hammer. Well, not like Hammer, but yeah. Hitting the clubs in Sacramento. Black Angus, Yucatan Liquor Stand, Paradise Beach Club, Bobby McGee's. Oh, I go down the road. I ran all those clubs in Sacramento. I'm just going to say it was like shooting fish in a barrel, if you know what I mean. Anyway. Boyz II Men and Mariah Carey break Billboard records in the 90s. They were both, Mariah's Mariah. That's a one-name girl right there. There's no doubt about it. Michael Jackson's Super Bowl halftime performance. Again, very big. Very big. TLC files for bankruptcy. This is where it all became, like, it got exposed. TLC was everywhere. They were winning Grammys. They were selling 1 million records, and they were everywhere. Videos, concerts, and they weren't getting shit. They signed a bad contract, and it really got exposed. Those three girls, Lisa Left Eye Lopez, rest in peace. They really had a lot of guts, and they exposed the record industry for what it really was. And you had a band that everybody thought was making bank. Like, how could you not? But their manager, Pebbles, who was an 80s kind of pop star, young black woman, pop star Pebbles, she had a couple hits in the 80s. She was their manager, and, well, she knew the business, and she gave them the business, if you know what I mean. They filed for bankruptcy, which was insane. Yeah. Britney Spears is pop's newest star. Britney. I don't care what you say. I love Britney. Leave Britney alone. Leave Britney alone. I always God bless her. Fucking crazier than a sprayed roach, but God bless her. Yeah. She had talent. She was fucking crazy. That's a great combination. Crazy and talented. That's a media dream. And we got to watch it unfold, unfortunately. But I always liked her. I didn't buy her CDs. She was not bad to look at. I'm not going to lie. And I don't know any guy out there that didn't watch that Baby One More Time video. In that little schoolgirl dress, right? Little plaid Catholic girl outfit. If you say you didn't watch that video at least once, you're lying. You're lying, man. Anyway. Napster wreaks havoc. God damn right it did. I'm not going to say, and you might know the story, you might not know the story, but I'm going to tell you the story. Back around 90, let me see. Back around 98, I went to this record store in Hollywood, Florida, called Coconuts, and I wanted to buy, we all got bamboozled with that whole vinyl sucks and everything is CDs now. So replace your vinyl collection with CDs. That's exactly what the marketing was. They bad. It's like what the margarine industry did to butter, right? They tell you butter is bad. Eat margarine, which is, as we all know, one chemical short of plastic, and ants won't even eat it if you put it in the dirt. Well, the CD industry did that. The record companies did that to vinyl. So we all try to replace, and most of us did, our record collection with CDs. So I kind of got caught up in it. I'm not going to lie. And I went to Coconuts, and I got The Clash, London Calling. Now that, at the time, was about 20 years old, going on 20 years old. It made its money fucking 3 times over in those just about 2 decades. And So I go to get the CD. I'm expecting like, I don't know, $15. They wanted $24 for that fucking CD. I said, you motherfuckers. You motherfuckers. So I end up buying the CD because I wanted it, right? When I didn't have a record player, and I had the old 6-pack CD player. Yeah, remember that one? That was a 90s thing. So I got it, but then I go to work, and a guy at work tells me about Napster or something. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, you can go on in and get this music. So then I went home and I download Napster, and I only had dial-up. So the first song that I downloaded was Stone Temple Pilots. I think it was like Plush. Never forget it. And it took literally like 45 minutes for one file. So I went back to work next day and I'm like, what the fuck? That takes forever. Dude's like, oh, there's this new thing out. And like this dude, there was two guys that were just computer junkies, right? Like, this new thing, DSL. Call AT&T or whatever and see if they have a DSL thing that's, that you're connected to because it's regional and yada, yada, yada. I go, what the fuck is DSL? He goes, it just makes everything faster. That's all I'm going to tell you. So I call and they're like, yeah, we have it. You're eligible for it. You're in the right area. And I said, all right, hook it up. I don't even know how much I paid for it, but I got it hooked up. And, that was the beginning of the fast, speeds. And I went into Napster and I proceeded to download, in the end, 10,000 songs. Just out of fucking pure spite. Just out of pure spite for the record industry. Yeah, I know Metallica was all like, you're taking the money from the artists. Yeah, well, fight with your fucking record companies. They've been taking your money for decades and decades and decades. And now they're taking our money too. So fuck you, Metallica. 10,000. Then my buddy taught me how to burn them onto CDs. MP3s, right? Remember MP3s? And I had like each disc, I had like 100 discs. Each disc had, I don't know, like fucking 1,000 songs on it, whatever it was, 10, 100, whatever. 1,000 songs on whatever, I don't know. But I had fucking 10. I was downloading everything. Everything. I downloaded, I don't know if any of you remember this, in the 80s and the 70s, there was a radio, when radio was still radio. And there was a show called CBS Radio Mystery Theater. And it was hosted by E.G. Marshall. And every night for an hour, they would tell these old radios. It was a new version. Like, they'd tell new stories. And it's kind of modernized for the time that it was out. And I found that, and I must have downloaded 500 of those episodes. And some of them are pretty cool because they still have the old commercials in them from like the 70s. So it was pretty cool. But the bottom line is, yeah, fuck the record company. You screwed me for $24 for an album that made its money 2-3 times over already? No. So thank you, Napster. Thank you. Lauryn Hill makes Grammy history in the 90s. Let me see. What did she do? The following year, Hill became the Grammy darling, won multiple awards, including Best New Artist, Best R&B Album, and Album of the Year. The latter making Hill the first hip-hop artist. She's with the Fugees. I don't know if you've ever listened to the Fugees. Ooh la la la. Who won the most prestigious awards. So there you go. That's some shit that happened in the 90s. I don't know how many of you were really listening to music back then. Like, I don't know, like Dave Phillips, King of the 45s, would say, let me get caught up on the, look at this. Let me say, Adam Nelson, it's very underrated. Okay, 90s music, I think he's talking about that. And let me get caught up on these. Patty Ossie, she certainly did. Janet Jackson. Mark Shannon tells me to shut up. What? You know what? This guy, he doesn't know anything about music anyways. He probably came and went. He's probably one of those guys. Let's see. Yeah, when I get that up on the screen, I can't read the comments, so I don't know where we're at. The glove box of your father's truck was full of them. Yeah, Steve Romano talking about, I guess, CDs. Then Left Eye burned down Andre Rise's. Oh, yeah. Left Eye. And remember Left Eye? That happened in the 90s. Lisa Left Eye Lopez, Andre Rison, the Atlanta Falcons wide receiver, she burnt his house down by lighting his sneakers on fire and throwing them in the bathtub that she thought was metal. Womp, 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 womp. And I still say to Bob Doucette, no, I won't talk about Steven Tyler. That's it. Won't do it. All right, let me see what else we got. Moving right along. Let me get rid of that. Let's see. All right, let's get out of this. Let's go with every year of the 90s ranked according to music. Let's see. I didn't just do that, right? Here we go. Okay, let me go over here. Pull it up on the screen for the people at home watching. Again, I don't read these, so these ought to be interesting. Every year of the 90s ranked according to music. From 10 down to 1. As millennials relive the 90s and all its glory, it's hard not to celebrate the ups and downs of music over the course of the decade. As technology and the political climate changed, so did fans' appetite for genres like gangster rap, grunge, new jack swing, punk, and pop. See, punk came back with that old Green Day shit, but there was a lot that went on in the 90s, a lot of changes. Let me see. As with any nostalgic music post, things need to be ranked. And in this case, we ranked each year based on selection of music and events to happen over the course of the 90s. At number 10 is 1991. I was in Sacramento, California. That was, again, great time. With alternative rock producing some of the best albums of the year, Nirvana introduces first glimpse of grunge, and R&B makes a go at the singles charts. This year is a bit all over the place in terms of genre and style. What happened? Well, Whitney Houston sings the Star Spangled Banner at the Super Bowl, laying the groundwork, like you said, for every performance after that. Janet Jackson signs a $30 million record deal with Virgin Records, and her brother Michael signs a $1 billion contract with Sony. Boyz II Men makes it so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Perry Farrell from Jane's Addiction launches the first Lollapalooza festival tour. Metallica releases the Black Album, one of the most successful albums of all time. Guns N' Roses sells 1.3 million copies of their sophomore album in 1 week. Every major single, Everything I Do, I Did It For You, Gonna Make You Sweat, Everybody Dance Now. I like the way The Kissing Game, Because I Love You, the Postman song. Love Will Never Do Without You features parentheses in the title. Kenny Rogers launches the restaurant chain Kenny Rogers Roasters. Isn't that the Seinfeld episode where they put a Kenny Rogers Roasters across the street from the apartment building that Jerry and Kramer live in, and Kramer referred to the red neon light when it was going off? He said being in his apartment was like, it's like being on the red planet, Jerry. And that was the episode where Jerry said he'll sleep in there. And then what is it, Mr. Chuckles, the fucking ventriloquist doll, ran across the floor. Oh, yeah. Notable releases. Mariah Carey by Mariah Carey. Nevermind by Nirvana. 10 by Pearl Jam. Metallica by Metallica. The Low End Theory, one of the greatest hip-hop albums ever made, by A Tribe Called Quest. Everything I Do, in parentheses, I Do For You, by Bryan Adams. I Want to Sex You Up by Color Me Bad. Gonna Make You Sweat, in parentheses, Everybody Dance Now, by CNC Music Factory. Rush Rush, Paula Abdul. One More Try by Timmy T. Okay. Number 9 in the rankings of the top 10 of the 10 years in the 90s, whatever the fuck. The first year of the decade was transitional year with the number of late 80s acts spilling over into the music, seeing a noticeable shift away from 80s pop and hair metal. Music tastes are a bit all over the place as alternative rock firmly establishes itself as the genre of choice. Now, what happened? MTV's Unplugged makes its debut, although it was with the forgettable new wave band Squeeze. Now, that I watched that, and that wasn't forgettable. That wasn't forgettable. The thing that was funny about that, this is a behind-the-scenes thing. You might have heard me tell this story before. Squeeze showed up at the studio, and they didn't have any instruments. They had their electric guitars, and the producer of Unplugged was like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "We got our instruments." He goes, "It's fucking unplugged." They were like, "What the fuck is unplugged?" They're like, "It's acoustic." And he goes, "Well, nobody fucking told us." So the producer of the show runs down to his office and gets this fucking acoustic guitar. So that was the guitar that they were using in that performance. And they didn't do like the whole show. Like Unplugged was like, it would be like sometimes 2 artists, maybe 3. And what else happened? Public Enemy releases one of the best albums of the year, Fear of a Black Planet. The Go-Go's reunite for the first time since breaking up in '85 to play a benefit concert. While still named Mookie Blaylock, Pearl Jam plays their first show. Janet Jackson lands atop the Billboard Hot 100 and mainstream rock chart with Black Cat. 2 different songs of the same name, Hold On by Wilson Phillips and En Vogue, top the charts. I forgot about that. Interesting. Vanilla Ice samples Under Pressure by Queen and David Bowie and Ice Ice Baby. It says, no, it's just a little difference. It's different. Celine Dion makes her English language debut. Madonna makes her Blonde Ambition, takes her Blonde Ambition on tour and gets banned by MTV. Milli Vanilli admits to lip syncing and later returns their Grammy Award for Best New Artist. Noticeable releases: Rhythm Nation, 1814 by Janet Jackson. Hold On by Wilson Phillips. It Must Have Been Love by Roxette. Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor. Go ahead. Yeah, you know Prince wrote that? Fucking people. Yeah, somebody out there think, like, as soon as I said Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor, somebody out there fucking thought, oh, you know Prince wrote that. The world fucking knows that Prince wrote that song. There's no need to fucking go tell everybody. When someone mentions the song, somebody is inevitably going to say, hey, you know Prince wrote that song? Like, everybody fucking knows, okay? Stop. You're not breaking, like, the fucking sound barrier. You're not, fucking changing evolution. He wrote the song. Jesus. All right, I feel better. Let me see. Belle Biv DeVoe. Poison by Belle Biv DeVoe. That girl is poison. Vogue by Madonna. Strike a pose. Fear of a Black Planet by Public Enemy. Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos, right? Yeah, you don't know anything about that. Goo by Sonic Youth. Great album. Bossa Nova by Pixies. Ritual de lo Habitual by Jane's Addiction. Great fucking album. All right, number 8 on this list, 1993. With the start of the SoundScan era, the charts explode with a mix of pop, hip-hop, and R&B. Nothing really feels groundbreaking, although there's plenty of fun to be had. What happened? Well, Whitney Houston spends 14 weeks atop the charts with her cover of I Will Always Love You. Janet Jackson becomes the first female artist to debut at number 1 in the Billboard albums charts in the SoundScan era. Prince changes his name to the unpronounceable symbol, becoming artist formerly known as Prince. Did you know he wrote Nothing Compares to You? Did you know that? Shut the fuck up. Ugh. Okay. Natalie Merchant from 10,000 Maniacs goes solo, and they were never the same after that. She was 10,000 Maniacs. That's all there is to it. Leaving 10,000 Maniacs after 12 years with the band. Wu-Tang Clan, Wu-Tang Bitches, enters 36 Chambers. That's the album, Enter the 36 Chambers. Ace of Base was never a big fan. Releases their debut featuring a cover of Tina Turner's Don't Turn Around. And Meatloaf will do anything for love except for that one thing. Notable releases. Whoop, there it is. Hate that fucking song. Siamese Dream, and that was by Tag Team. Siamese Dream by the Smashing Pumpkins. Debut by Bjork. Janet by Janet Jackson. Weak by SWV, which stands for Sisters with Voices. They came and went. Informer by the White Canadian Snow. Trying to be all gangster. The Canadians, white Canadian gangster. I'm Gonna Be 500 Miles by the Proclaimers. I fucking hate that song. I could be some miles and miles and I could be. Fucking hate that song. Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers by Wu-Tang Clan. Wu-Tang bitches. And The Sign by Ace of Base. I found a sign. Anyway, number 7, 1992. With the grunge movement established, Kurt Cobain becomes the voice and face of the despondent 90s generation. A despondent 90s generation. They weren't that despondent. I think the writer here is taking a little liberty. They weren't maybe they were fucking despondent up in Seattle, but they're always despondent. Fucking Northwest is just a miserable place. The year feels cohesive, if not slightly serious, as acts like Rage Against the Machine, R.E.M., and Sonic Youth follow in Cobain's shoes. No. But anyway, what happened? Well, let me tell you. Nirvana establishes the grunge movement with the success of Nevermind. Guns N' Roses releases the world's longest single, November Rain, which clocks in at 8 minutes and 57 seconds. The music video also costs a record $1.5 million to make. It wasn't really $1 million video, but okay. Eric Clapton pens the emotional and chart-topping tribute, Tears in Heaven, to his late son, Connor. Sinead O'Connor rips up the Pope on Saturday Night Live. If she did that today, I mean, she was way ahead of her time. And I always loved me some Sinead. Again, another one who's unfortunately crazier than a sprayed roach, but God bless her. She was way ahead of her time. Queen re-releases Bohemian Rhapsody when the song appears in Wayne's World. Madonna gets erotic on wax with, what's the name of the song? Yeah, I forget. But it was played on MTV like only after midnight. Yeah. Something about my love. My love. Boyz II Men spent 12 weeks atop the Billboard Hot 100 with End of the Road. The B-Girl becomes the most popular video vixen in Blind Melon's No Rain. Little B-Girl. Everyone remembers the B-Girl, the tap dancing B-Girl. Okay. Whitney Houston makes her film debut in The Bodyguard and covers Dolly Parton for the soundtrack. Vibe magazine launches. Dr. Dre Ain't Nothing But a G Thing, Baby was released with Snoop Dogg. Mariah Carey covers the Jackson 5. Notable releases. End of the Road by Boyz II Men. Baby Got Back by Sir Mix-a-Lot. Hate that fucking song. Jump by Criss Cross. Save the Best for Last by Vanessa Williams. A hottie. Always was a hottie. Tears in Heaven by Eric Clapton. I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred. I always like that song. I don't care what you say. I like that song. It's just catchy. It's a fucking catchy pop tune. You can't take it serious, but you can't deny it either. It's fucking upbeat, it's happy, and you can dance to it. I'm too sexy for my cat. Too sexy for my cat. Oh, my pussy cat. Morrissey doesn't like that, though, my cat. Achy Breaky Heart by Billy Ray Cyrus. A lot of conversation we could have about that. The Chronic by Dr. Dre, one of the greatest hip-hop albums ever made. Automatic for the People by R.E.M. Rage Against the Machine by Rage Against the Machine. And 40 Ounce by 40 Ounces of Freedom by Sublime. Number 6 on the list, 1994. Following the directional list, why does this guy have to, or this lady have to fucking like make it sound like it was, oh my God, it was such a desperate time in America, the 90s. Following a directionalist 93, directionless 93, what the fuck? The next year enjoys a revival of punk and witnesses the beginning of New Jack Swing. Now, by 94, I went from Sacramento, Mather Air Force Base in Sacramento, to March Air Force Base in Southern California. And that's right around Riverside. Let me see. The next year enjoys revival of punk and witnesses the beginnings of the New Jack Swing. Again, I could dig that. What happened? Well, let me tell you. Green Day throws Dookie everywhere and launches the punk revival of the mid-90s. Fuck Green Day. Fuck them. Fuck them. I don't know why you fucking bought their albums. Anyways. Kurt Cobain is found dead after committing suicide. Isn't that kind of redundant? Why can't they just say Kurt Cobain committed suicide? Why would they say Kurt Cobain is found dead after committing suicide? Well, they're not going to find him dead before suicide. Idiots. Fucking writers today. Does anybody proofread this stuff? Anybody? I am not an English major by any fucking means, but I can see and I can read when something's wrong. Kurt Cobain is found dead after committing suicide. If I was the editor, which they evidently don't have, this would be fucking crumbled up and thrown in their face. Like, just say Kurt Cobain killed himself. Kurt Cobain committed suicide. I think the reader is intelligent enough to know that they're going to find him dead. Fucking brain dead generation. Weezer introduces themselves to the world with the Blue Album. Weezer, very consistent band. Lisa Left Eye Lopez sets fire, here we go, to her then boyfriend Andre Rison's home. Red Hot Chili Peppers, overrated. Overrated, but people love them because of things like this. They perform in light bulb costumes at Woodstock 94. What people see in that fucking band, I don't know. I just think you're an unintelligent music person if you think that there's anything remotely great about them. Flea is a great bass player, and that's it. And the drummer, he's good. That was it. Alicia Silverstone stars in Aerosmith's music video, Crying, and then she followed up with the next video in that little, I think it was a trilogy. Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie Presley awkwardly kiss on stage at MTV Video Music Awards. Maybe if his name was Louis Marie Presley, Michael would have kissed him better. I don't know. I could be wrong. TLC creeps on them men, 'cause I creep. That's a great song. Notable releases in 1994. Don't Turn Around by Ace of Base. I Swear by All for One. I Swear. Hero by Mariah Carey. Definitely Maybe by Oasis. There you go. Illmatic by Nas. There you go. I wasn't a big Nas fan back then, but I am now. Weezer by Weezer. There you go. Lion King soundtrack featuring Elton John. It was a big deal. Crazy Sexy Cool by TLC. They were broke, but it sold over a lot of albums. Long View by Green Day. Ugh. Ready to Die by the Notorious B.I.G. Great album. 1996 comes in at number 5 in ranking the years of the decade of the 90s. Following years of alternative rock, grunge, and punk dominating the radio and TV. Music begins to shift as hip-hop goes mainstream. What happened? Hey, let me tell you what happened. If you really want to know. Madonna steps into Evita's shoes. Rent makes its debut off-Broadway. Kiss reunites with the original lineup and makes first appearance in full makeup together since 1983. Money grab, but they're great marketers. Tupac, overrated, releases his first ever rap double album. All Eyes on Me. And then Take That splits up. Oh boy. Pop-Up Video. Remember Pop-Up Video? Everybody watched Pop-Up Video on VH1. That's when VH1 was like, they were at their peak. They had all those great shows, Behind the Music, Getting the Band Back, or whatever it was, Baking the Band, and Pop-Up Video. And I mean, it was just great watching because we all reminisced over those videos too. And you find out shit you didn't really know. It was pretty cool. Pop-Up Video. MTV2 was launched. Mariah Carey, and that was as successful as ESPN2. Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men sit atop the charts for 16 weeks with One Sweet Day. MC Hammer files for bankruptcy. That didn't take long. Phil Collins leaves Genesis. begins an extremely successful solo career. Slash leaves Guns N' Roses. Sammy Hagar leaves Van Halen. Spice Girls released their debut single, Wannabe, going number 1 in 31 countries. Aaliyah collaborates with Timbaland. She was pretty. That was a pretty girl. In 1 in a Million. Whitney Houston sings backup for Brandy on Sitting Up in My Room. No Doubt airs their dirty laundry amid breakup tensions in the music video for Don't Speak. And Jamiroquai creates a virtual insanity. That guy's loaded. The lead singer for Jamiroquai. I think he is Jamiroquai. I saw a video of him. This dude's loaded. He's got this whole fucking collection of like these one-of-a-kind cars, like new cars. Notable releases: One Sweet Day by Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men. Always Be My Baby by Mariah Carey. Give Me One Reason to Love You by Buckwheat, Tracy Chapman. Everybody said it. This is not just me. Everybody would say that. I'm just continuing the joke. It's not, she did. I mean, if you looked at her, Tracy Chapman, just go look. Go pull up a picture of her from 1994, whatever this year was. What year was it? 1996. Go look. Just saying. Don't get on me about it. You Making Me High by Toni Braxton. She had a pretty consistent career, Toni Braxton. She did okay. Ironic by Alanis Morissette. That was a big one. Loungin' by LL Cool J, Uncle L. It was written by Nas. Falling Into You by Celine Dion. All Eyes on Me by Tupac. The Score by the Fugees. Space Jam, music from and inspired by motion picture featuring R. Kelly. They took that one off the shelves, I'm sure. 1 in a Million by Aaliyah. Number 4, I'm almost there. Almost there. What? You want to come up? Come up. Come on, buddy. Psst. Come on. What's the matter? Morrissey's visiting me. I didn't even know he was in here. Let me see. 1998, following the revival of pop, mainstream radio finally hears a variety of music that lay the groundwork for the iPod generation. What happened? Well, let me tell you what happened. In 1998, Madonna freezes in a desert in a video for Frozen. Red Hot Chili Peppers fires Dave Navarro. VH1 gathers the music's biggest divas, Aretha Franklin, Gloria Estefan, Celine Dion, Shania Twain, and Mariah Carey for one night. Aerosmith goes number 1 for the first time in 28 years together with I Don't Want to Miss a Thing that they didn't write. Jerry Halliwell, whatever redhead Spice, leaves the Spice Girls. Lauryn Hill goes solo. Why not? With the miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Total Request Live debuts on MTV. Everybody watched that. Britney Spears releases her first single, Baby One More Time, that, like I said, every guy watched that video at least once. I don't care what you say. Brandy and Monica fight for the same guy. Goo Goo Dolls spent 18 weeks atop the Billboard Hot 100. Cher introduces the world to auto-tune. Courtney Love and Hole go glam for Celebrity Skin, the album. The still hype-hinted Jay-Z samples Annie. And Alanis Morissette rides the subway naked. Yeah, I remember that one. Notable releases that year. Before These Crowded Streets by Dave Matthews Band. It's Dark as Hell is Hot by DMX. Doo-Wop, That Thing by Lauryn Hill. Ray of Light by Madonna. The Boy Is Mine by Brandy and Monica. Nice and Slow by Usher. Getting Jiggy With It by Will Smith. Volume 2, Hard Knock Life by Jay-Z. Aquemini, whatever, by Outkast. You've Come a Long Way, Baby by Fatboy Slim. Hello Nasty by Beastie Boys. Mutations by Beck. Closing Time by Semisonic. And Kiss Me. Kiss Me. Oh, the new sea sunshine, kiss me by Sixpence None the Richer. I'm almost there. This is what happened at number 3 in 1997. That's his number 9. Number 3 is ranked in top 10 years and decade. You already know if you're listening. Thanks to Spice Girls and Hanson, fans taste the pop reignited And country has its mainstream moment thanks to artists like Shania Twain and Garth Brooks. Meanwhile, hip-hop continues to explode with acts like Puff Daddy, Missy Elliott, and the Notorious B.I.G. Let me tell you what happened. You want to know what happened? Let me tell you what happened. Daft Punk makes their debut with Homework. Notorious B.I.G. is shot dead ahead of his release for his double album, Life After Death. Ironic. Puff Daddy and the Family and Sting pay tribute to Biggie with a performance of I'll Be Missing You at the MTV VMAs. Hanson and Spice Girls usher in a new era of pop music. Missy Elliott, Can't Stand the Rain. I Can't Stand the Rain. What? Come up and see me. Stop crying. I didn't even know he was in here. Let me see. The ladies of rap, Angie Martinez, Da Brat, Left Eye, Lil' Kim, and Missy Elliott unite on Not Tonight. Sarah McLachlan launches the first Lilith Fair. Both Leanne Rimes and Trisha Yearwood record the same song, How Do I Live, and release their versions on the same day. Close to 1 million people show up for Garth Brooks' free concert in Central Park. Fleetwood Mac reunites on The Dance. Elton John pays tribute to Princess Diana with a re-recording of Candle in the Wind. Shania Twain becomes the biggest country star to cross over the mainstream with Come On Over. Now that's what I call music collects this year's biggest singles, blah, blah, blah. Notable releases, Bop by Hanson, Barbie Girl by Aqua, Something About the Way You Look Tonight, Candle in the Wind, 1997 by Elton John, Foolish Games by Jewel, Semi-Charmed Life by Third Eye Blind, Hypnotized by the Notorious B.I.G., Come On Over by Shania Twain, Spice World by Spice Girls, The Velvet Rope by Janet Jackson, OK Computer by Radiohead, The Color and the Shape by Foo Fighters, The Fat of the Land and the Prodigy by The Prodigy, Bitch by Meredith Cole, I'm a Bitch. I hate that fucking song. My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion, No, No, No by Destiny's Child, and Big Willie Style by Will Smith, and Honey by Mariah Carey. All right. Hold on one second. Hold on. You want to go out? Come on. Let's go out. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Yeah. Go. Get out. All right. He's out. All right. He's done. Get rid of Morrissey. I'm almost there. The second ranked year in the decade of the 90s is 1999. In a year, I'd been with Customs for over a year at that point in South Florida. In a year when basically anything could happen, just about everything did. The last year of the decade, while disjointed at times in terms of taste, had something for everyone and has a new generation of spending power came of age. What happened? Let me tell you what happened. Britney Spears and boy bands kick off a new era of pop thanks to the success of TRL. TLC don't want no scrubs in their life after returning with their first new album in 5 years. Sugar Ray ditch funk metal. I mean, they weren't funk metal. For pop rock on 1459. Jennifer Lopez makes her musical debut and helps usher in the Latin explosion. Napster is launched. Women dominate the Grammy Awards with Lauryn Hill, Madonna, Shania Twain, Sheryl Crow, and Garbage, fronted by Shirley Manson. All up for Album of the Year. Red Hot Chili Peppers reunite the original lineup for the release of Californication. Carlos Santana collaborates with Rob Thomas. That fucking song. Was the king of the 45s for that one. Lauryn Hill and others of Supernatural. Mariah Carey lands her 14th number one single on the Billboard Hot 100 with Heartbreaker. The ladies of R&B put men in their place with Bills, 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 Destiny's Child. Bugaboo, DC. It's Not Right, but It's Okay, Whitney Houston. No Scrubs, TLC. Where My Girls At, 702. 702 Music. Music dies at Woodstock 99 when the festival was plagued by sexual assaults, poor conditions, excessive heat, and fires and protests. Notable releases that year: Heartbreak Hotel by Whitney Houston, Faith Evans and Kelly Price, Fan Mail by TLC, The Slim Shady LP by Eminem, Smooth by Santana and Rob Thomas, Ricky Martin by Ricky Martin, Millennium by Backstreet Boys, Fly by the Dixie Chicks, Genie in a Bottle by Christina Aguilera, What's It Gonna Be by Busta Rhymes and Janet Jackson, If You Had My Love by Jennifer Lopez, Bills, Bills, Bills by Destiny's Child, Rainbow by Mariah Carey, and Mambo Number 5 by Lou Bega. So that was number 2. This is the number 1 year. 1995 was the number 1 year, according to this article, in music for the decade of the 90s. No other year felt as cohesive as 1995. R&B dominated the radio with most of the year's biggest singles, and some of the decade's most now classic albums were released. Fans were done with the dark undertones of grunge and looking for more optimistic and danceable sounds. Again, with the fucking misery thing. Jesus. Okay, what happened? Well, let me tell you what happened in 1995 that made this the number 1 year in the decade. TLC chases Waterfalls and then files for bankruptcy. Tupac scores a number 1 album, Me Against the World, while in prison and later signs with Death Row Records. Robbie Williams quits the boy band world. Offspring and Rancid extend Green Day's punk revival. Cher releases her first new album in 4 years. Coolio gets Michelle Pfeiffer to star in his music video for Gangsta Paradise. Janet and Michael Jackson scream at each other and spend a record $7 million on the duet's accompanying music video. Seal delivers A Kiss from a Rose and wins all the awards at the Grammys. Hootie and the Blowfish score the best-selling album of the year. New Jack Swing takes over the airwaves thanks to acts like TLC, Boyz II Men, Monica, and Adina Howard. Alanis Morissette seeks revenge on Dave Coulier with Jagged Little Pill. Great album. Notable releases. Fantasy by Mariah Carey. Don't Take It Personal, Just One of Them Days by Monica. This Is How We Do It by Montel Jordan. Freak Like Me by Adina Howard. That's a jam right there. Freak Like Me by Adina Howard. Go download that one. Go listen to that one on Spotify. That's a jam right there. Adina was killing it on that song. You probably won't go listen, so. Freak Like Me by Adina Howard. Waterfalls by TLC. Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette. Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness by the Smashing Pumpkins. What's the Story, Morning Glory by Oasis. You know that. The Bends by Radiohead. Post by Bjork. Macarena by Los Del Rio. Tragic Kingdom by No Doubt. And Pieces of You by Jewel. There you go. I got through it. And I'm back. Yeah. What did I miss on the comments? Let's see. Let me see. Steve Romano, Robert Kirkman. What the hell? I don't get notifications anymore when you're on. Well, I posted it. Patty Yassi replying to Robert Kirkman. Robert Kirkman wins at 7 p.m. Tap on videos on his profile. Okay. Robert Kirkman. Maggie's dream is formed. Oh, Jesus. Robert Kirkman again replying to Robert Kirkman. Patricia, yeah, blah, blah, blah. They're having a conversation in the chat. That's replying to Robert Kirkman. I thought the 90s were pretty good, Patty Yassi said, and I'm old. Let me see. And finally, Robert Kirkman says, no Gwen, Blake is one lucky SOB. Okay. Well, that's it, everybody. I just went over an hour. I'm just going to kind of turn it down, turn it off at this point. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you like it, share it. If you didn't like it, well, thanks for watching or listening for an hour and 9 minutes. I didn't see Big Head Todd DeWitt's rocking tonight. I didn't see Dave Phillips, King of the 45s. I didn't see any of these guys. Okay. That's all right. It's summertime. It's summertime. Shit starts to kind of take a break. Everybody's out doing shit. Hopefully your weather is nice. Although I'm sure it's raining somewhere. It's not raining here, though. It's been an okay summer down here in the lovely Boca Raton, Florida. Not too bad. Can you believe that Thanksgiving is like 4 months away? Ha! I love that. I love that. Thanksgiving is like 4 months away. Yeah. And we're almost halfway through July already. This is going fast. It's going fast, which is fine with me. I used to love summer, and then I started liking the the holidays. I really look forward to the holiday season. But yeah, so all right, everybody. With that, like again, thanks for watching and listening. And I'll be back next week. I don't know if Jack will. Jack's somewhere in Cape Cod. Yeah, the Luther is 4 months away. That's right. Robert Kirkman, I need some cards. I know I got to get on all that for my other nonprofit. I've been slacking. It's I got like 5 projects going on at my house here, and we went on vacation. It's summer. It's just hard to get your shit together. Mike DiBiase, Freak Like Me, Alicia Keys, Fallen. There you go. And yeah, so that's it. That's it. Got some 90s news this week. And I hope you liked it. And I don't know if Jack will be here next week. I think he's down in Cape Cod right now, not watching the show. You know, he never listens or never watches the shows after he does them. He's so fucking pretentious. Don't get me started on Jack. All right, everybody. Well, as I always say, to quote my favorite artist, Morrissey, about doing the show for you, the pleasure, the privilege is mine, and I will be back.